For icons, one epic showdown. Today, we're diving into the ultimate battle of off-road royalty. The 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser, the Land Rover Defender, the Mercedes G-Class, and the rugged Ineos Grenadier. These legendary SUVs are built to conquer the wild while delivering luxury, innovation, and unmatched capability. From the dunes to the mountains, these machines redefine off-roading in 2025. Stick around as we compare their power, performance, features, and versatility to crown the king of the terrain. Let's get started. So, this is Parth, and you are watching MotorNation. Starting up with what's new for 2025. Aside from the removal of the first edition model offered for 2024, there are no changes to the Land Cruiser lineup. While this year sees the introduction of the new range-topping Defender Octa model, the name plays off the idea of a diamond, referencing the gem's typical 8-sided shape and the fact that it is the hardest naturally occurring substance on Earth. The Defender is equipped with a twin-turbo V8 and a versatile air spring suspension with hydraulically linked dampers. 60 dynamics in Rover vernacular. The company claims it to be the most capable Defender yet, all while retaining reassuring on-road dynamics and equipped with the type of luxurious furnishings typically associated with full-boat Range Rovers. Talking about the G-Class, it is getting more aerodynamic for 2025. No, it isn't morphing into a curvy crossover a la the EQS SUV, but subtle styling revisions are intended to help the G550 cut through the air a little easier. They'll be shared with the new electric version of the G. The grille, front bumper, and A-pillars have all been reshaped, and a little spoiler on the roof's leading edge helps direct air up and over the SUV. The biggest change is under the hood, where the 2024 model's V8 engine has been swapped out in favor of a turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-six with a 48-volt hybrid system. Horsepower is up to 443 ponies, but torque is down slightly. Acceleration performance should be similar, though. Inside, the MBUX infotainment interface takes up residency on the G550's dashboard. The updated software provides more connectivity, including an optional rear seat entertainment system with two 11.6-inch displays that can stream video or browse the web. Elsewhere, a new 360-degree camera system can show the driver what's underneath the G-Class. More personalization options have been added to the manufacturer program, and an adaptive cruise control system with a lane centering feature is now available. While the 2025 Ineos Grenadier receives its first special edition, the 1924 limited edition, which celebrates the centennial of British clothing brand Belstaff. Limited to 1,924 copies worldwide, it wears Belstaff centennial badges, exclusive magic mushroom and inky black paint, 17-inch two-tone alloy wheels, and a D-chromed black grille accented by dark gray front and rear skid plates. Inside, the cabin is accented in dark green with black leather trim. Otherwise, the Grenadier remains unchanged for 2025, retaining its 6-cylinder BMW engine and 8-speed automatic transmission. Taking a look at the engine, transmission, and performance. Given that this is an entirely modernized and smaller generation of the Land Cruiser, Toyota has elected to install a hybrid powertrain in place of a naturally aspirated V8 engine. A turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder is assisted by two electric motors to make 326 horsepower. If this setup sounds familiar, that's because it's similar to the powertrain offered in the Toyota Tacoma. All Land Cruisers come with an 8-speed automatic transmission and a 4-wheel drive system featuring a locking center differential, low-range gearing, a crawl control system, and hill descent control. In test drive, we found that the hybrid powertrain provides good torque, but noticed that the boost from the electric motors is inconsistent due to the small battery pack. In testing, the Land Cruiser First Edition got to 60 miles per hour in 7.7 seconds. For the Defender, The standard powertrain consists of a 296 horsepower 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Naturally, four-wheel drive and locking differentials are standard across the lineup. There's also an available 395 horsepower 3.0-liter inline-six, which utilizes an electric supercharger, a turbocharger, and a 48-volt hybrid system. If you deem additional speed necessary, the available 518 horsepower supercharged V8 is your ticket. We tested a Defender 90 with the V8 and it hit 60 miles per hour in just 4.4 seconds. Sitting atop Powertrain mountain is the twin-turbo V8 earmarked for the forthcoming Defender Octa flagship. Though the specifics remain unconfirmed, we think it's likely that the Octa will feature the same 626 horsepower twin-turbocharged 4.4-liter V8 found in the revamped Range Rover Sport SV. Notably, the current Defender is built on a unibody platform rather than the OG's body-on-frame construction and rides on a fully independent suspension in place of solid axles. Coil springs are standard, but an air suspension that enables adjustable ride height is available. The new Octa trim utilizes the maker's 6D Dynamics hydraulically linked damper setup that eliminates the need for traditional anti-roll bars. The long wheelbase 130 outbound with the 395 horsepower inline-six powertrain ran to 60 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds. In testing, the Defender 90 with 518 horsepower supercharged V8 vaulted to 60 miles per hour in just 4.4 seconds. Moving on to the Mafia, all G550S now come with a turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-six with 443 horsepower and 413 lb-ft of torque. A 48-volt hybrid system helps out, but doesn't provide any electric-only driving range. The powertrain sends its torque to the wheels via a 9-speed automatic transmission. All-wheel drive is standard, as are the famed triple differential locks, front, center, and rear, and low range. In test drive, the new inline-six engine performed admirably, but lacked the distinctive sound of a V8 that we had become accustomed to as part of the G-Wagon experience. Still, the current generation boasts much improved road manners compared with the outgoing generation, thanks to an independent front suspension and a lower center of gravity. Whereas the previous model leaned into corners with comical abandon, the newer model at least tries to pivot without scraping the door handles on the pavement. The new generation G550 steering feels more precise, and the ride quality is composed on all but the choppiest surfaces. The G550 Professional comes with 18-inch wheels wrapped in all-terrain tires rather than the standard model's 19s and all-season rubber, and this package will return for the 2025 model. Mercedes estimates that the new model will hit 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds. While the Grenadier is powered by a turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-six source from BMW, the engine is good for 282 horsepower and 331 lb-ft of torque. Drive is to all four wheels through a standard 8-speed automatic gearbox and a 2-speed mechanical transfer case, which is operated by a chunky mechanical lever next to the gear selector. All versions of the Grenadier get a locking center differential as standard, which is engaged by moving the low-range selector lever sideways. The electrically locking front and rear axle differentials that come with the optional Rough Pack package are controlled by buttons on the overhead console, and, in our experience, are a little tricky to engage. The Grenadier Trialmaster Edition brings much more off-road equipment, including BF Goodrich all-terrain tires and a snorkel air intake. It also has a second battery, which allows it to power 110-volt appliances drawing up to 400 watts, and is pre-wired to allow fitment of additional off-road lighting and other accessories. Unlike many plusher rivals, the Grenadier doesn't have selectable terrain response modes or a smart traction control system, so skill is required to get the most from it off-road. Given its off-road priorities, it's little surprise the Grenadier's on-road demeanor feels as if it comes from an earlier era than its luxurious rivals. Low-geared steering and solid axles require frequent correction to stay the course over anything but the smoothest surfaces, and the six-cylinder engine must be worked hard to deliver strong acceleration. Ineos claims a 9.6-second 0 to 62 mph time in Europe. The Grenadier's top speed is electronically limited to 99 miles per hour. Taking a look at the interior, comfort, and cargo. Unlike the previous generation Land Cruiser, this new one is strictly a two-row, five-seat SUV. Toyota has downsized the Cruiser's body this time around, putting it into contention with midsize rivals. While the base 1958 trim does without many of the other trim's luxuries, it still offers niceties such as heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and a 6-speaker stereo. The other trim, simply called Land Cruiser, has a more deluxe cabin that includes ventilated seats, a 10-speaker stereo, and available leather upholstery. All Land Cruisers come with Toyota's excellent infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the base 1958 trim makes do with a rather dinky 8.0-inch display. The top trim gets a much larger 12.3-inch touchscreen. USB-C charging ports and a wireless smartphone charging pad are standard fare, but you'll have to pay extra for onboard Wi-Fi or the available 14-speaker JBL stereo system. While the Defender's cabin walks the line between premium and utilitarian, with just enough design cues from the rest of the Land Rover lineup to make those familiar with the brand feel at home. Exposed rivets in the door panels add a rugged appearance, and a magnesium beam that runs the full width of the dashboard isn't entirely cosmetic, it's also structural. Under the infotainment display, a trapezoidal extension of the dashboard provides a place for buttons and switches for the climate control system and driving mode. The shift lever and ignition switch are also mounted on this center stack rather than the center console. In some models, the center console can be flipped back to create a jump seat between the driver and passenger, similar to a 3-across bench in some full-size pickup trucks. The Defender's dashboard sports a 10-inch touchscreen infotainment system that runs a new interface for Land Rover called Pivi Pro. A larger 11.4-inch display is optional. Compared to the rest of the Land Rover lineup's Touch Pro Duo interface, the Defender's system relies on a single touchscreen instead of two, offers quicker response times, and can handle over-the-air software updates for future releases. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standard, as is an in-dash navigation system, a 6-speaker stereo, and an onboard Wi-Fi hotspot. Both 10 and 14-speaker Meridian stereo systems are optional, and buyers of higher-end Defenders receive a digital gauge cluster and a head-up display. On the other hand, standing in contrast to the G-Wagon's paramilitary transport vehicle exterior is a fully outfitted luxury interior. Standard features include a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, heated front and rear seats with leather upholstery, a power-adjustable steering column, 3-zone automatic climate control, a sunroof, and 3 12V power outlets. With the check of a few option boxes, buyers can enjoy massaging front seats with ventilation, a heated steering wheel, and Napa leather upholstery. The G manufacturer options offer the most opulent aesthetic, including unique upholstery choices, but they cost a considerable amount of money. While there's no shortage of headroom in the front or rear seats, the G-Class is still essentially a very luxurious and well-equipped box. The instrument panel and infotainment screen are positioned nearly vertically. The driving position is almost bus-like, and the large, flat glass areas occasionally shoot alarming reflections across the cabin. A standard 12.3-inch infotainment display takes center stage on the G550's near-vertical dashboard, and on it is Mercedes' latest MBUX software. Navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a Burmester stereo system are all standard. Those looking for further upgrades can add a rear seat entertainment system that provides passengers a chance to stream video content, interact with the infotainment system, or browse the web. Different form, all of the above. The Grenadier's cabin is trimmed with durable-feeling materials clearly designed for hard use, but the interior also features several neat design touches. Our favorite is the dashboard center panel, with large physical switchgear clearly labeled in the manner of an airliner's control console. The aircraft impression continues with secondary switchgear, including the controls for the optional locking differentials on the roof behind the rearview mirror. We also love the secondary toot horn control, which produces a softer sound designed to warn cyclists and pedestrians. Utility is generally good, with the Grenadier having a deep storage box between its front seats, a big glove box, and several other smaller stowage compartments. The luggage compartment is big, too, with 44.3 cubic feet of volume with the rear seats in place. That's because, despite being longer than many contemporary three-row SUVs, the Grenadier is only offered with 2 rows of seats, with rear legroom also more limited than in most similarly sized vehicles. The Grenadier gets a single 12.3-inch central screen that handles both instrumentation and infotainment functions. What initially looks like a smaller digital display in front of the steering wheel is just a binnacle for warning lights. Speed, fuel level, engine temperature, and revs are displayed in a small area on the left side of the center stack screen. The main section of the screen can be reconfigured to give more off-road driving data, as well as control entertainment functions. The Grenadier supports both wired and wireless Apple CarPlay, but only wired Android Auto. The Grenadier doesn't have a phone charging wireless pad, but individual USB-A and USB-C charging ports are located inside the storage box between the front seats. And finally, coming back to the pricing, the price of the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser starts at $58,150 and goes up to $62,920 depending on the trim and options. Though the base 1958 model's classic round headlights are tempting, we think the Land Cruiser trim is the one to go for, as it adds ventilated front seats, a 10-speaker stereo system, a larger 12.3-inch infotainment display, and wider all-terrain tires, among other items. Next up, the price of the 2025 Land Rover Defender starts at $58,525 and goes up to $169,425 depending on the trim and options. We're intrigued by the new Octa trim, but as the new top-tier offering, its price will undoubtedly bleed into Range Rover territory, not to mention knocking on the door of several competing luxury SUV makes. We think the Defender is best experienced with less pomp, and although the two-door 90 has undeniable charm, the 110 X-Dynamic SE hits the sweet spot between retro style, luxury, and raw capability. The X-Dynamic SE trim's features include 20-inch aluminum wheels, a Meridian stereo system, 12-way power-adjustable front seats, and a digital gauge display. Plus, Land Rover offers an extensive list of options and add-ons, including several specially themed accessory packages, so it's easy to outfit even the base Defender models to taste. While the price of the 2025 Mercedes-Benz G-Class starts at $149,400 and goes up to $163,700 depending on the trim and options. With a starting price of around $150,000, it's a good bet that most buyers won't be too concerned about ponying up for a few options. Still, the sheer number and cost of those extras is dizzying. Our feeling is that buyers are best served by enhancing a G550 with thoughtful choices like the exclusive trim, which adds the nicer Napa leather upholstery and snazzier trim pieces. The seat comfort package includes massaging front seats with ventilated cushions, and we'd add the heated steering wheel too. The only other option we recommend is the available adaptive dampers that allow the driver to dial into ride quality. And finally, the price of the 2025 Ineos Grenadier starts at $76,700 and goes up to $88,550 depending on the trim and options. The base Grenadier is about as no-frills as a modern SUV can be. Steel wheels are standard, and cabin carpeting is an extra cost option to allow for a hose-out interior. While we appreciate its single-minded, Spartan-like simplicity, we do object to the idea of a $70,000 SUV without standard heated seats. The Fieldmaster Edition is the one we'd recommend, as it brings a smattering of creature comforts in the form of leather upholstery and the missing heated front seats. The Fieldmaster also gets an upgraded audio system, a Napa leather steering wheel, and what are described as safari windows, twin side-by-side moonroofs at the front, as standard. An extensive options list means it is possible to add capability to the Fieldmaster, including standalone add-ons including an integrated front winch, rock slider, sill protectors, and even red or gray paint for the ladder frame chassis. Tick every box, and the Grenadier can be pushed past the $100,000 mark. And that's the ultimate face-off between the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser, Land Rover Defender, Mercedes G-Class, and Ineos Grenadier, each one redefining what it means to conquer the off-road. The Land Cruiser offers legendary reliability and a balanced blend of modern technology with proven durability, making it a trusted ally for adventure. The Defender pushes boundaries with cutting-edge design and tech while maintaining its iconic off-road DNA. Meanwhile, the G-Class pampers you with unmatched luxury while tackling the roughest terrains. And the Ineos Grenadier brings unapologetic ruggedness and a back-to-basics approach for true purists. So, which one fits your journey? Are you seeking reliability, innovation, luxury, or rugged simplicity? So, this is Parth signing off. Do let me know your choice and thoughts in the comments below. If you loved our content, do give it a thumbs up. And in the end, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of our great content.